They're always like, we're not transphobic, nobody's scared of trans people. But it's like, yeah, you are. You are. There's no reason why somebody would act so irrationally towards people just existing. Like, you're scared that children being taught that trans kids exists turns them trans and is grooming, and like, you use fear tactics in order to push propaganda and make people, especially conservatives, stop thinking critically and just be like, yeah, these are demons. Like, transphobia, homophobia, and so on, it is based in fear. It is like your feelings, irrational feelings, having anxiety of everything that is like different. That's how conservatives are being indoctrinated and so on, and brainwashed. Like, they are scared. They actually are terrified. And then there are also like these transphobes who are like scared that they are, you know, attracted. They're like straight men attracted to a trans woman, and that makes them gay, and they're like terrified of that. They're terrified of walking down the street, seeing pretty women, and, you know, finding out that she has a penis, because that would mean that they're gay, apparently. So they're hyper fixating on like genitalia. They're like, oh, we can always tell, but that's not the case. That's why the trans panic defense is even like a thing. You can't push the idea that you can always tell and then, you know, expect us to always reveal to everybody we ever meet to come out as trans to them, to shield them, to stop them from being physically attracted to us. And then, you know, having that fear of being seen as like gay or something turn into anger and disgust, and then coming after us, assaulting us, right? It is fear. You cannot tell me that you can look at the anti-trans propaganda and be like, oh yeah, this is rational and based in like science and reality. It's not. It's just fear. It's lies, it's slander. It's like, oh, these trans-identified males are going and invading women's spaces. Oh, I'm not transphobic because I'm not scared of you. Yes, you are. Otherwise, you would like critically engage with the things that we are saying and just like listen for once. Like, we are seen as lesser. We are being sexualized. We are being fetishized. We are seen as something that purely exists to satisfy the urges of like people in positions of power. And then on top of that, the propaganda is like, oh, trans women go into women's spaces to do harm. Trans women are actually mentally ill and they are going to commit school shootings and so on. Everything is just propaganda. It's fear. And then they're trying to gaslight you and tell you that no, we're not transphobic. Actually, this is just like reality and like facts. We're just noticing patterns. Like, no, you don't. If you could notice patterns, you would realize that the same propaganda that is used against trans people right now has been used against gay people 40 years ago, with like Margaret Thatcher saying the same shit about gay people that they are now saying about trans people. If you could notice patterns, you would realize how the Trump admin is being fascist. If you could actually notice things in the real world without your mind being occupied by this fear of the unknown, of people that are other than you, you wouldn't be a conservative. You would be more progressive. A huge uptake in calling us lapas right now. Yeah, it's like the idea that like, oh, there was this huge boom of like everybody starting to identify as trans. It's like, oh yeah, still 1% or whatnot. And then them hating us, them legislating against us, taking away our healthcare, our resources, trans people losing their jobs, their housing, trans people being put at risk, being hate crimed all of the time, wanting to be invisible, because like, even if you just have your pronouns in your bio on social media, you're going to get harassed. Even if you just speak up for trans rights, even as like a cis person, people will just like harass you and assume that you're trans. And that's just like, you know, a social media trend, and you do it for clout or whatnot. Then you see less and less people being openly trans, and they believe that that is proof that this was just a trend, when they are just bullying us, forcing people to detransition, forcing people back into the closet, into hiding, and then they use it as a justification to keep forcing us and bullying us into hiding. Like, if somebody could actually recognize patterns and have the capability of critically think, they would realize that everything that they are dealing with is actually incredibly irrational. It is based on fear. That's how propaganda works. That's how far-right propaganda has always worked, with like the, oh, they are other, they are coming for your jobs, they are coming for women and children, they're disrupting the harmony in society, they are the problem, they are the ones driving up the prices and so on. And because they look different than you, you're like, I have people who look like me, who look like the ones who raised me, the people that I grew up with, tell me that these groups that are different because of their ethnicity, because of their gender identity, because of their sexual orientation, you're like, oh, they are other, I will trust the people who look like me, and I'm terrified of engaging with the people who look other. Like, that's how it works, right? The AfD in Germany wants to bring back homeschooling in order to isolate people. They push the propaganda that like, oh yeah, in schools, like all of these children are growing up with like all of these Muslims.
Dumb bitch.
The good German children are around these savages.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
God damn it, can I speak, please? They push this idea that like, oh, these invaders, these foreign invaders are taking the spots and disrupting, and German children need to grow up with other German children. And then they want to push for like homeschooling, so these children don't even grow up with like a diverse surrounding. They want to isolate them so they can groom them into their fascist propaganda later on, so they can raise them
Shut
this
the fuck
way.
up, bitch.
God damn it! Anyways, so when people say they are not transphobic because they're not afraid of us, not only is that incorrect, and actually, you know, transphobia also refers to an aversion, but they are, in fact, afraid of us. They are afraid that us being in public life, having gay people be in public lives and kissing each other, that like children are going to see that and then they're going to be converted or whatnot in this cult. Like, that is fear. That is not something rational. That is not something logical. I grew up around cis people all of the time. I watched movies with purely just cis people. I didn't have like any trans representation. I am still trans. I never talked about the fact that I'm trans. I am still trans. And I didn't turn trans when I hit 18 and I started to decide that this is like the right path for me. I didn't turn trans because as a kid, as a young boy, I felt too neglected by society. And actually, being a boy, being a man is too tough, so I had to become a woman. I was trans because I was born this way. From a young age, from a really young age, I knew that my life would be better if I was a girl. I wanted to, not because being a man is too tough or whatnot, because like it felt weird to me that I wasn't born female. And it's so fascinating to me that like people are incapable of listening to me because they are being taught that I am a demon, that I am a parasite, that I am subhuman, whatever, that I'm a groomer or whatnot. So they don't even rationally engage with the things that I'm saying. They don't care about my lived experience because it doesn't match their own. Even if I use research and whatnot to back this up, they're just going to dismiss it anyways. But I feel like if a trans person is telling you something about their identity, telling you about like their own experiences, the source, trust me bro, should literally just be enough.